We're doing our Ed review now. I played him for a few days, and I want to share my thoughts about the character, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts too. We're going to talk about everything, like strengths and weaknesses and design. But I think this character, man, Capcom knocked it out of the park. I'm having so much fun playing Ed, and I know, Vesper, you're a content creator. You're supposed to say that about every character, but seriously, Ed's one of my favorite characters right now. He's my new main, and I think they just went above and beyond this time. Yes, they had a little extra time, 5 months extra time to release between the other DLC characters. Since Ed is a complete rework from his Street Fighter V, I don't know, they just did such an amazing job. He feels more like a boxer now. They completely changed his toolset, got rid of all of his kicks. He's got a lot of cool new moves, and he feels very original in this game. I just love his design. It's just amazing. He feels like he doesn't belong in this game at all. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have been following my videos, I've been saying this all the way leading up to Ed being playable. So I'll tell you guys something that I haven't said yet, and that is Ed is complicated. This character is hard, bro. When we went to the character selection screen, his description was hard and tricky. And you kind of roll your eyes, it says jury's hard, but you just dive kick, right? And you win Capcom Cup. But Ed, this character is actually hard and tricky. By far the hardest trials I have ever done. Dude, the chat was making fun of me, calling me king of trials this and all my trial videos before. I was stuck on the trials for so long, dude. Ed and Chun-Li are probably the most difficult characters in Street Fighter 6 right now. He's that hard. I guess it just depends what you value as more difficult, because Chun-Li, she has all very situational buttons, but she's a charge character too, right? And her anti-air is tough because it's a down-down input with the tensho kicks. Ed is similar, where every single one of his buttons is for a very specific situation. But instead of being a charge character, he has timing combos where you have to input a button fast, or delayed, or charge, or perfect charge. A lot of timing. And his anti-airs are not simple either, like Chun-Li, because his light uppercut, he doesn't move anywhere. But his medium uppercut goes really far, and then his heavy uppercut goes even further, and they're much, much slower. And his heavy kick is situational for an anti-air, and crouching medium kick is even more situational as an anti-air. So Ed is really tough, and this is like, after playing for a few days, we haven't mastered the character, not even close. So it's gonna be really hard to see where Ed kind of lands in the future. He's like not a character that seems very strong up close because his like lights don't go too far, and his crouching light punch isn't cancelable. And it's just weird in the first place that you're using, crouching light punches or crouching punches to do sweeps and hit low rather than kicks that are used more for distance. But he's more of a character that you want to play more like, like a boxer, more like in and out, keep them away, wear them down, and then land a really fat like counter hit. What makes his combos so tough is like just doing this B&B alone. This one like right here into the fireball is so difficult, man. First you have to do the fireball as soon as you possibly can, and then you gotta dry rush as soon as you can, and even that alone is difficult because I was like holding parry and pressing dash too soon, so Ed would just do a normal dash, and then you have to like immediately do a dry rush heavy punch, and then immediately cancel into your kill switch, and then you have to do a quick punch. Like, just this whole process, there was a lot of people in my chat asking like, Vesper, can you give us just a simple B&B combo for Ed? And there really isn't much that you can do that's like simple. But when you do master these combos, the damage is great, the Oki is great, the corner carry is awesome. Like, he has a bunch of sick stuff that he can do. We can even take it to the next level where like, if you like shimmy someone, you could do something like this. This is like my favorite combo right now that we've been doing. And then Mir showed me one where you can like charge the snatcher, and you can do something crazy like this. It's hard. It's very hard. That's why I don't do it right now. There we go. Whew. And that just does a little bit more damage. Everything I just explained, plus you have to perfectly charge the snatcher right before they touch the ground. So a lot of, and then I'm not even talking about the level 2 stuff. My goodness. It's really interesting, by the way, too, that like now that I'm playing Ed and I see how different he is compared to the other designs of the characters, the base roster. I'm noticing that like all the DLC characters are pretty complex, or at least really deep. Look at Rashid, and he got a slight rework. Look at Aki, if you consider her like a Fang rework. And then look at Ed, you know, Rashid, he controls the wind, manipulates the wind, a lot of setups and stuff with his level 2. Aki, poison setups. And now we have Ed, right? Level 2 setups and this kill switch, this timing thing, where you can cancel and bait moves. And then like when I'm playing against like, I don't know, I'm playing against like a Lily, and Lily's just like wind, Condor, Spiral, Burr, you know, or Marisa just going medium punch, Gladius or Honda headbutt. It's like, wow, man, it just really makes you see how like basic some of the characters are in the normal in the launch roster compared to the DLC. Wait, what do you guys think about Ed's design? You guys think Capcom did a really good job with him? I see a lot of Eds online too, which is cool because like after the balance patch, I figured people would be like, you know, checking out Ryu or Jamie, right? Going back to their mains and seeing the little buff Zangief. But I'm seeing a lot of Ed players. That's great. That's a successful rework, you know, of players that didn't want to play him before. But I also noticed there are some people that were like, man, you know, it's kind of ironic that Ed was a beginner character, a simple character in Street Fighter V, and it was kind of like a, you know, a prototype test for modern controls in Street Fighter 6. And then now fast forward to Street Fighter 6, he's one of the most complicated characters. So some people don't like that, where they're like, well, you know, I was hoping he'd be basic because it'd help me learn the game, you know. But I feel like now there is a lot of basic characters in the starting roster, so it's fine. His buttons go so far, especially his kick buttons are all really specific. But his standing light kick is sick, and it goes into a target combo, leaves you plus and in throw range. His medium kick is wild. Look how far this button goes. There is like no character in the game that Ed cannot whiff punish. Even JP's heavy punch, I don't know, Lily's standing medium punch, you name it. Like all the crazy sword normals in this game, everyone fears Ed's standing medium kick. It's just wild. And it goes into target combo like this, and you get Oki from it, but it's cancelable too. And you start to realize that like almost every single button from Ed is cancelable. Crouching heavy kick, you know, crouching medium punch, standing light, standing medium punch, standing fierce. Like even standing heavy kick is like the opposite of Aki, you know? So like Capcom is rewarding Ed players for being really good at whiff punishing, as a boxer should be, right? So if you're good at spacing, you have like a button for every situation that you need. Even his sweep is pretty sick. But once again, they're all very specific. So there's weird things like, for example, his crouching medium kick. This has really good range, but the problem is that lows go under this. So if someone does like a drive rush crouching medium kick, this will get beat. Or his standing medium kick, you notice how it hits low, right? This can get stuffed by like standing medium kicks that are designed to beat lows, and so on, right? His crouching heavy kick is slow, but this also has a target combo. So it's like you kind of have to know what to use in every situation. His crouching light punch is not cancelable because it's like a crouching light kick. It hits low, but it's not cancelable. And his standing light punch has really bad range. And even his forward heavy punch, this is designed to go over lows too. So very like reminiscent of like Chun-Li. Even in the air, he's got some interesting normals in the air with his jumping medium kick. That's kind of like JP's staff, and jumping heavy kick has an amazing hitbox, and this causes a juggle state. He doesn't have moves where you can kind of just throw them out carelessly that are like very multi-purpose. You know, like Honda headbutt. It's good for pressure. It's an anti-air, beats a lot of buttons, and it's safe. Or Gladius, right? He has specific moves that you use to bully your opponent with, but you have to know what to do depending on how your opponent reacts. And that's why it's just gonna take a really long time to see like Ed's strengths right now. He does good damage, and even his level 2, like the basic combo that they show in the trials for his level 2, is really strong. Like it does like level 3 damage. It's really good. The ones they show. There's one in the corner too. It's like a lot harder to do though. Until like core circle back blitz. I'm sure you guys have already seen like the Twitter clips, and everyone's going crazy showing like very insane corner carry conversions with it. I'll try to do it. into like level 1. This is not even optimal. It just looks cool, but you don't even need to do something fancy like that. You can do like just normal fireball. Hopefully I remember what the combo was. Hopefully I didn't forget. Oh, we still got it. See, we could just corner carry from that too. His level 2, you can push the opponent on block with it, which is one thing I wanted to know right away when he was launched. You can use forward heavy punch too to push the opponent back, like this, and you can use that to throw him. Or you can even use your charge heavy punch, and you can do like cross ups and stuff with it. His drive rush is actually not as bad as I thought it would be. Like, Capcom suspiciously wasn't showing much with it in his trailers, but it doesn't go full screen, but it's got a decent speed, you know? It's okay to like just check someone quickly with light punch or to go for a throw. He has fireball drive rush, and it's not used at the extreme of like Ken or Chun-Li, but it could be good if the opponent's running away from you and you can kind of close the gap and get into the range you need to be. And Ed's fireball is pretty cool. You're not going to outzone zoners with it, but it's just another tool in his arsenal to force the opponent to make an action. The Snatcher has like such incredible range. You kind of use it like Aki, but it just comes out really fast, and you can it's just so far away, you know, kind of like, it kind of feels like poison. And if the opponent gets too, like, if they play it too carefully and they slow down, that's what Ed wants. And then you can drag him towards, you know, it's kind of like almost like a reverse Dragon Lash kick. Instead of you going to them, you bring them to you, like Scorpion Hook styles. And you're +4. Like, this move is so strong. And you can threaten a strike, throw, shimmy setup each time you do it. And the OD version is really good. It goes through fireballs too. I just think his conversions are so cool, man. Like, look at this. He's combining the boxing moves, and look, and then I use the kill switch, you know? Like, all this is so cool. All of his corner stuff is sick as well. Dude, just this one is hard. There we go. And then, like, it gives you a save jump +42, and then, you know, you could do like a meaty fireball after. Like, look at this. I feel like when I'm playing Ed, players are like jumping in on me so much. And Ed's like, uppercuts are pretty rewarding too if you can do it early enough, because there's juggle properties there as well. Let's talk about his weaknesses now. Okay, so from the few days I've been playing him, one obvious one is that Ed doesn't have an overhead. So because he doesn't have an overhead, you have to have pretty good fundamentals on how to open people up without it. You do have to do a good job of like quickly reading how your opponent reacts on block to things and knowing, hey, he's teching throw like 3 times here, I need to shimmy him. Or, hey, this guy likes to mash buttons, so I need to do a meaty and frame trap him. You have to identify that right away. Another thing about Ed is his anti-airs are pretty slow and distance dependent. So your spacing has to be really good with him as well. Oh, his lights, right. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. His standing light punch has like no range. Which is kind of weird because, you know, he's a boxer, right? Weak jabs. But I guess he's a psycho boxer. Come on, Balrog. Why don't you get Ed to lean in here on his standing light punches? So his standing light punch is pretty stubby, and his crouching light punch is not cancelable. Because once again, it's considered a crouching light kick. They're both 4 frames, standing light punch, crouching light punch. But they want you to use, like, if something far, they want you to use crouching light kick. And this is cancelable. So it's kind of reverse. It's weird. There is this kind of weird dead zone that Ed has. If like someone gets you in the corner, you start to realize that like, oh, I can't use my standing light punch to check them out. So you have to use like your kicks. And some of these are pretty slow, so you got to be pretty patient with him. It's kind of like Aki, where Aki you gotta be patient because her crouching light punches went nowhere. The same kind of situation with Ed, but at least Ed has a reversal. But I would definitely say it's kind of tricky to punish some things, especially things that are like -4 with Ed, because what will happen is like you'll be able to do one jab to hit them, but you can't chain into the next because they'll be walking back and they'll be too far away. Right, zoning would be the other obvious thing. So I'm not having crazy problems against zoners yet, But I'm not in the super high ranks yet either. But if you're playing against like Guile, you know, or JP, because your drive rush doesn't go completely full screen, you know, you'd have to do like drive rush heavy punch. And this can't tangle. This can't go head to head if someone's just throwing fireballs at you like nuts. It's just used to give you some time to like make your next move. It's not to the point, like I said, where he just gets like mauled like Manon. At least you have a fireball. Like you have OD fireball. You can throw slow to like help you move in, but you have to use a lot of meter, right, to deal with it. Oh, jump. Yeah, floaty jump. Thanks, Sid. Yeah, his jump seems pretty bad. Like, there's a lot of times where I will make a good read and jump in when someone throws a fireball, but like the heavy punch doesn't hit low enough and the jump seems really high. It's kind of like Bison's jump almost, you know? But he doesn't have Bison's jumping heavy punch. And I notice a lot of players will have time to either perfect parry me or just block, right? Or uppercut me. Even when, if I would have jumped with other characters, I would have landed in time. It's not super floaty like Chun-Li, of course, but it is a weird arc. And unlike Aki, who has a very good cross-up button with her jumping down heavy punch, Ed's cross-up is not as crazy, right? At least he has a cross-up, but it's not super wide. So there's a lot of times where you have a kind of a floaty jump and you're kind of like whiffing a lot and you're having a hard time like opening somebody up. So the potential of this character, like you guys are probably wondering, well, Vesper, where do you put him on the tier list? I hate this part because this is the part where I talk about potential. What I think it's gonna make or break this character is gonna be the level 2. It's always the level 2, man. How useful it is just throwing it out in neutral, how useful it is from different conversions, what you can do after it will always make or break. It's what happened with Rashid. When Rashid first came out, everyone's like, oh, his anti-airs are so weak, his drive rush is not that good, a lot of pushback on his buttons. But now we can see that Rashid is like super meta right now, very strong, and his level 2 is so optimized now. It's to the point of absurdity where people are complaining about his level 2 now. Aki, you know, Aki was in a weird spot. She didn't have like a big level 2 like Rashid did, but Ed does. So Ed could be another late bloomer character, but I think that's like the big part. I personally think he's strong, but he's gonna require a specialist. I don't think this character is easy enough where you're like, yeah, you know, I got a side Ed. That's not how it's gonna be, man. It's gonna take someone who's like, I'm an Ed main for life. They're gonna dye their hair blonde and grow it and part it and grow it long on one side. That's the only way, and put on a Bison hat. I don't want people to be discouraged playing him if you're like a beginner, because he is a really cool character. I'm just talking like the highest level of play. So if you think Ed's cool and you want like a boxing character, you know, give him a shot. Maybe I can make like a basics guide or something to get people started at the beginner level, you know? We got some time to play some Ed before we get the big balance patch. They can give him an extra oomph just in time for season 2. I don't think he's weak. Like, I don't think he's like bottom 5 or anything. There's no way. He has way too many tools to be bottom 5. Just his level 2 alone doesn't make him bottom 5. So I can at least say that. Maybe I'll have to like do a retrospect and like I have to like do another review on him again once the tournaments start picking up. I would love to talk about this character, but he is one of my favorite characters right now, and I'm doing my best trying to learn him. I'm having a blast. I still think his design is amazing. I hope we see him in tournaments. I think Capcom didn't hold back on trying to make sure he was like under-tuned in any way. Everything looks pretty well thought out, and maybe some hints too on the next balance patch on how they want characters to be designed. I just feel like he's very original. I feel like I'm playing a different game when I'm playing Ed, and that's good. We want more characters to feel kind of distinct and not just, you know, everyone's just doing drive rush jab all day. So I'm very happy with the end result of Ed. I'm happy I'm finally playing this character.